The Muscatine City Council will come to order. We'll begin tonight, as always, with a roll call by Fran Donaldson.
Councilmember Florett.
Present.
Fitzgerald.
Present.
Natfig.
Present.
Shahade. Bynum.
Present.
Phillips.
Present.
Spread.
Present.
6 present and 1 absent, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you, Fran. Folks, would you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, folks, we'll begin this evening. Anytime you see the police department and council chambers in large numbers, we're either all arrested for something or there'll be a swearing in of a new officer, and the latter is the case tonight. Officer Rigg, would you join me at the podium? Please raise your right hand.
Sweet.
And repeat after me. I, Daniel Rigg,
I, Daniel Rigg,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Iowa,
that I will
support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Iowa,
support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all the duties of a police officer in the city of Muscatine, Iowa,
discharge all the duties of a police officer in the city of Muscatine, Iowa,
as now or hereafter required by law.
as here required or after required by law.
Close enough.
There you go.
Thank you. If Joe signed right here.
Stand it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome.
Congratulations, welcome.
Congratulations.
Randy said it was on his. I thought it was on his left hand. Huh? You shoot right hand.
Good thing I wore my coat today.
Congratulations.
Getting married next month.
Is he? Having a big month.
Congratulations. He's getting married and he got a job. He must ask him how old he was.
At this time, if there is anyone in council chambers that would like to address council, perhaps about an issue that is not included on tonight's agenda, now would be the time to do so. Come to the podium and please give us your name and address. You can pull the microphone over to you, yes.
Hi, I'm Eastland Hahn, and my address is 701 Woodlawn Avenue. And I'm here because I am the vice president of an anti-bullying club, and I just want to tell everyone that you can join. It's at 2 every Tuesday, the Munster Public Library, and we want everyone to join. We would like to get the community to. We also have bracelets of the name of our club, and it only gets better. We do hand those out because we want people to know about our club. So, that's all.
Council, any questions for these young ladies?
You're gonna change your hours after school starts?
That's exactly the.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing after school at 5 to 7.
Okay, I just thought I'd ask.
Yeah?
That was my question.
Oh, that was your question? Okay. Anything else, council? Anyone in the audience? Very good, ladies. Thank you, and we commend you for your efforts.
Thank you.
Okay, moving down to item number 5. The following items are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Those items include items 6A, items 8A through D, items 9A through B, items 12A through F and tonight's bills totaling $1,463,261.23. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed?
So moved, Your Honor.
That would be
Second.
Phil. Second?
Second.
Second, Jeanette. Any discussion, council? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. And moving down to item 11 from the city administrator. Presented for city council's consideration is a resolution releasing a real estate mortgage under the 2006 CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Program for 1820 Schiller Street. The property owner received the maximum $24,999 in funding assistance through a 5-year forgivable loan. The project was completed on October 25th, 2007, and since that time, 20% of the loan has been forgiven annually. At this time, 80% of the loan has been forgiven. Because the mortgage will expire in approximately 2 months, it is staff's recommendation that the City Council take action to release the real estate mortgage. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Bob. Second. Anyone?
Second.
Tom? Any discussion, council? The roll call vote, beginning with Bob.
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Phil?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
And Jeanette?
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Item B, presented for City Council's consideration, is a resolution approving the amendments to the Muscatine Municipal Housing Agency's Capital Improvements Program 2011 Annual Grant. In accordance with the Muscatine Municipal Housing Association or Agency's substantial deviation policy, City Council, acting as the MMHA Board of Commissioners, has the authority to amend its annual plan without HUD approval. This revision to the plan would allow all the $171,006 in grant funds to be moved from the property improvements line item to operations. This revision will allow the MMHA to reduce the regulatory burden for this program. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Scott, and a second.
Second.
Second, Mark. Any discussion, council? Roll call vote, beginning with Scott.
Aye.
Phil.
Aye.
And Mark.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Jeanette.
Aye.
And Bob.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Item C, presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution setting a public hearing for the golf course irrigation project. The current irrigation system at the golf course has outlived its useful life and is beginning to fail. The proposed project will basically replace the old single-row hydraulically controlled system with a modern double-row electronically controlled system. The new system will allow for more efficient and effective watering of the fairways. Prior to any formal action by City Council, a public hearing is required. The public hearing will be held on Thursday, September 6th, 2012 at 7 p.m. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Motion by Tom,
Second.
second by Jeanette. Any discussion, council?
Has this project been budgeted?
Yes, it has.
Yes. It has.
Yes.
Do we have an amount?
Let's see, we had it at the last one. Nick, you have the budgeted amount with you tonight?
I think it was in there, wasn't it?
I believe the amount was between 245 and 265,000.
Is that out of the enterprise fund, or is that being
That's out of the golf course fund.
the golf course
Enterprise.
fund?
Yes.
Thanks.
Nick, while you're there, could you, especially for the public, kind of explain the difference in design from the current system to the proposed?
Yes, the current system is a hydraulic system. It's run by water pressure, and with that system, there are small hydraulic lines that run throughout the fairway. Some of these lines have begun to collapse since the irrigation system was put in back when the golf course was originally built. From that, we've had to tie certain lines onto other lines, and we're not watering effectively right now. Droughts like we faced this year, this is also just a single row irrigation system, and we're looking to expand that to a double row irrigation system. And with that double row, we're going to be able to water further into the fairways. One of the big things that we saw this year was some tree loss and some trees actually starting to wilt out there from a lack of moisture. So we're going to be able to supply irrigation more uniformly throughout the golf course, which should help to present a higher quality facility.
Thanks.
Nick, what's the current life expectancy of our current system, and how does that compare with where we're at?
I'm not real sure what the current system, when it was originally put in, what the length of terms were with that. With our new system, though, we're going to be going in with brand new pipe, which should last us at least as long as the hydraulic system currently did. It's also going to be run electronically, so we're going to have valves being able to operate each head or two heads by themselves rather than an entire system out there. So again, if we see localized dry spots forming throughout the fairways, we're going to be able to go out there and water more efficiently just those areas there. I don't have any information on the system that we're looking at putting in yet. With this just being a public hearing being set here, we haven't sent this out for bid yet, so we're not sure what the warranty and the length of the terms are for the irrigation system we're looking at installing.
Anyone else, council? Okay, this is a roll call vote, beginning with Tom.
Aye.
Jeanette.
Aye.
Bob.
Aye.
Scott.
Aye.
Phil.
Aye.
And Mark.
Aye.
Motion carries 6-0. Item D, presented for City Council's consideration is a request to approve the issuance of a purchase order for the soccer complex drainage project. The proposed project will help improve the draining area around fields number 7 and number 8. 2 bids were received with a low bid from CR Landscaping in the amount of $14,876.95. There is $15,000 budgeted for this project. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
That was Phil. Second?
Second.
Second.
Tom.
Tom. Discussion, council? Those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Carries 6-0. Item E, presented for City Council's consideration is a request from the Police Department to purchase an audio-video recording system for the interview room. In 2006, the Muscatine County Attorney issued a memorandum requesting that all law enforcement agencies in Muscatine County install hardware for the purpose of video and audio recording of interviews and interrogations. 3 bids were received with a low bid from Raycom, that is, in the amount of $6,978.73. There is $7,000 budgeted for this purchase. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
That would be Scott. And a second?
Second.
Second, Mark. Any discussion, council? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Item F, presented for City Council's consideration is a request to approve change order number 2 for the Harrison Street Extension Project totaling $81,707.78. Several items have been encountered during this project requiring extra work. The items include 1, 2 manholes near Walgreens uncovered during demolition operations require concrete box outs to make them accessible for maintenance and snow removal. 2, roadway east of Park Plaza intersection to be paved with 8-inch PCC. 3, manhole P-1 will be lowered by removing one barrel section and replacing it with a shorter section. 4, deteriorating curb and gutter along the existing portion of Harrison Street and inappropriate unused driveway cuts need to be removed and replaced. And 5, asphalt milling depths were significantly greater. The addition of change order number 2 increases the original contract amount from $510,999.30 to $552,729.25. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
That would be Phil. And a second?
Second.
Second, Tom. Any discussion, council?
Mayor, what was the initial budgeted amount for this?
John, you want to step to the podium? We've got a couple questions, too. The original contract amount was
$10,000.
$10,999 on page 2 of the memo.
Okay.
As far as the budget, yeah, that's how much the contract was, project.
What was our actual budget for this project?
The cost estimate or the budget? The
The
cost
budgeted before we went out for bids.
We talked about this.
What was your engineer's estimate?
The engineer's estimate was around 465,000, I'm guessing, I believe so.
Under $500,000, yeah.
I don't have that info right here with me. I remember it was lower than 510,000.
Okay.
You're going to remove some unused driveway cuts because
These
they're-
were some of the old Hy-Vee driveway cuts that were still there.
Okay.
There was other curb there that had asphalt over the top of them. Even like on a 6-inch curb, it had 4 inches of asphalt over the top of it. So you only had about 2 inches of curb left. And, you know, for our city streets, when the snowplows run down the streets, if they're getting a plow off the edge, they're ripping up sod and irrigation.
We're going to eliminate the cuts altogether,
That's-
then it'll just be curbing.
It's correct. It's
Okay.
new curb and gutter, 6-inch curb, and then asphalt in between that and that first section. And then the next sections are concrete from there on out.
Okay.
The road is actually paved all the way from Plaza to Bandag Drive. They are just finishing up the entrance to the school, in Colorado School, and we do believe that the kids will use it on Monday.
Well,
And it will be ready.
Yeah, we're actually, they're pouring the sidewalk on Friday for it, and, you know, there won't be sod on it, there won't be a fence around it, but it will be functional.
Okay.
we're comfortable that there won't be any more change orders?
I projected and looked through, and actually some of the other quantities come down a little bit. You know, it's possible that it could come down less than 552.
My only main question I wanted to ask was, I can understand missing a manhole that's under the asphalt. That's an easy one. How did we miss the deteriorated curbing from Park Avenue out?
You know, not enough attention walking the curb and looking at the entire curb before, you know, during the design process and saying, hey, we have to replace curb and gutter here, it's just not suitable. It was more looked at a blanket area, hey, what we're gonna do to Harrison Street from Park Avenue to Plaza Drive is mill the street and replace it. So that's what it was shown on the plan that way. When you actually physically go out there and you look at the curb and gutter, it was a no-brainer. We had to replace it. It's just, yeah, there wasn't enough attention.
I would agree that it needed to be replaced.
Yeah, it's just not enough attention out there during plan development.
The original goal to keep the cost down was, as John said, was simply to mill off that first section and replace it with asphalt, not do as little as possible to that first section, and then rebuild, or not rebuild, but construct
build,
a new
right.
road from that point over to Bandag Drive to keep the cost down.
There were several other cost-saving measures that we did use. Originally, we had in it to mill the entire surface of the road, and then when we looked at the crown on the road, we milled it in a triangular shape so that we only milled the outside edges and left the center unmilled. And so it had some crown on it for better drainage, and then we saved some milling cost also by doing that.
Okay.
We saved money where we could, and we wanted to build quality road also.
Okay, yep, okay, thank you.
Maybe that point answers my next question, because I was going to ask, we have a change order that's increasing our cost by $82,000, but when you look at the last sentence, it says it increases the original contract amount from 511 to 552. It only increases it 41.
Yeah, there are other items like, we increased the milling. We had to add new bid items that we didn't have unit prices for, and that's the reason for the change order, to invent those bid items to apply contract quantities to. There are other items that we already have unit prices for, and we just adjust those down in the actual pay estimate. And so that is the decrease amount that I show in the memo. I don't process the change order showing the decreased quantity amounts. They just get reflected in how the total contract is paid.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyone else, council? Very good. This is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Item G, presented for City Council's consideration, is a request for authorization to install 2 pivotal stop signs on Mulberry Avenue at Bonnie Drive. The city's traffic committee received a request from the Muscatine School District concerning the installation of pivotal stop signs at this location. Extensive construction work is underway at the Muscatine High School, resulting in the displacement of existing bus lanes. As a result, the bus loading and unloading locations will be moved to a large parking lot on the north side of the school. School buses will be exiting the parking lot via Bonnie Drive onto Mulberry Avenue. The purpose of the pivotal stop signs is to aid in the flow of traffic. The stop signs will become functional in the morning and afternoon on school days. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
That would be Scott.
Second.
Second, Mark. Any discussion, council?
I have some major issues with this. Over the years, they've had discussion about putting stop signs at Mulberry, on Mulberry at Bonnie Drive, putting stop signs. We tried stop signs at Mulberry and Hauser. We had those removed when we did a 6-month trial. Currently, they load their buses on what I will say is the Cedar Street side of the building, and if the bus needs to exit out Mulberry to go to Mulberry School or out north of town, they come around the building and head on out Bonnie Drive. I think they can handle this on their own property and exit whatever exit they want, but I don't see that there's a necessity to put a new stop sign on Mulberry Avenue at Bonnie Drive. It would make 3 of them to start at this point if that was the case. And I think the citizens of Muscatine would be better served if the stop sign was permanent at Hauser Street rather than putting a temporary one at Bonnie Drive. The signs that they currently have operate from 7 in the morning until 9, and then again from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, unless it's, I don't know whether they're doing early outs this year or not. But there's a set time frame that those signs are supposed to be turned, a maximum amount. But I can't support this. This is a way I think that somebody's trying to get what they tried over the last 10 years to get, and because of the construction at the high school, they're not going to, they need to change it. This construction that they're doing isn't any more extensive than what they've done over the past few years when they've added additions onto the high school. They've added onto the foreign language wing years ago. The gymnasium they've added wrestling rooms. They've added a lot of different items out there. They've always worked around this, and I think they can continue to work around it.
Andy, Randy, would you care to address this issue? I don't know why I called you Andy. I apologize.
Well, I'm not here to debate with Phil. The only thing that I would say is that you said 3 stops, and the traffic committee said you can only have 2. So what they're willing to do, as I understand it, and this is secondhand information to me, is that the superintendent, as well as the principal of Mulberry School, said that they're more than willing to give up the stop sign that's in front of Mulberry School.
And see, personally, that doesn't make any sense, because students walking to school, they're going to cross right in front of the building where there should be supervision, whereas at the other intersections there wouldn't be the supervision. I just don't think this is a good idea, and whether they go from 2 where they are now to 2 including Bonnie Drive, I just don't think Bonnie Drive's necessary.
What prompted this was the amount of traffic that backs up as school lets out. And I don't know about coming to school in the morning. As with any intersection, left turns is what bottlenecks everything. This would allow for the left turn. Mr. Kring, I don't know if Don Kring is here, but he was willing to come tonight to address this. And I know that the mayor is a school bus driver, but as I said, I'm not here to debate the pros and cons. It was the action that the traffic committee made, the request of the school district, and our condition is that we think you can have 2, but you can't have 3.
Randy, a quick question. Who is the makeup, general makeup of the traffic committee for this, at this meeting? Was it school reps plus the normal membership, or, you know, that came to this decision?
Well, the request came from a representative from the school district that sits on the traffic committee.
Okay.
So that's how it came to us.
Okay.
And there's one representative from the school district, and you have city representatives, and you have I think the police chief's on there.
John's on it, Steve, Andrew.
Power and Water? Power and Water?
Power and Water has a representative.
The problem and they back up, okay? Traffic backs up. It has for years, and that coming out Bonnie Drive. I'm not sure how long, because if you're at one intersection, you're obviously not going to be able to be at the other intersection to see how it's flowing at the same time. But the high school can clear out in 20 to 25 minutes without any problem. We have people sitting over on Folium and over on Hauser Street in the mornings, and we haven't put signs in over there to help with school traffic. There's just a time frame, a waiting period that people have to get used to exit out of the high school. And I don't see doing this as a necessity. It's worked well since they put Bonnie Drive, access through Bonnie Drive in, and it's worked well for years. I just don't see any need to change it.
What's the cost to the city to do this?
There's no cost.
There's no cost.
No.
The school district
I think, Phil,
reimburses for the signs, I think.
Just to balance this, it has worked for years, and it hasn't necessarily worked well, but it has worked for years.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true, and they've talked about over the years of having a third exit coming out of the high school and going off of Eileen, one of those small streets along there, and they haven't formally brought that forth, but you take people out to Hauser Street, and then they got to go left or right, because they're not going to get anywhere to go to Heritage Heights, and they're going to end up bottlenecked again at Hauser or Mulberry. And a third exit doesn't solve the problem. A stop sign at Bonnie doesn't solve the problem. The problem is people need to be a little more patient when they're leaving the high school. That's all it amounts to. They can adjust time frames. They've adjusted bus schedules a couple years ago. They could let the seniors out earlier. There's a lot of different things they could work on, but they don't seem to want to do that. So.
And just a clarification, at least from my understanding of the school projects that are going on right now, with that third exit, my understanding is that it has been formally approved as part of a package of capital improvements that the school board addressed in the past few months. That's my understanding.
Exit onto Hauser, you mean?
Exit onto Hauser at the MPW access drive off of Hauser.
Yeah, and that's my understanding also. And the residents that back up to that have started to call me.
They started to call this morning on the radio program too, but we directed them to the school.
There you go.
Are we not putting in a light at the entrance to the high school as part of the Cedar Street improvement?
There is a signal that's
Yes,
scheduled to be part of that project, and that's paid for by the city, the school, and MPW.
In fact, we just submitted a grant application to pay for those lights Wednesday.
Thank you, Randy. Anyone else, council?
Mayor, Phil's argument, or his reasoning, seems logical to me. I mean, I hadn't heard it until just now, but normally I would go along with the traffic committee, but this seems to be logical line of reasoning. Just a comment.
I can provide some input. Traffic coming off of Bonnie Drive, and it's mostly affected in the afternoon when school's dismissed. If you have one vehicle, and let's assume 1 out of 8 vehicles on Bonnie Drive want to turn left on Mulberry, that's what causes the backup into the clear down Bonnie Drive and into the parking lot at the high school. If there were a turn lane there to the right, it'd be different, but it's just a 2-lane, 1 lane in and 1 lane out. I think pretty much the bus drivers know, for expedience purposes, that when they get to the stop sign at the end of Bonnie Drive, they turn right, because even though they may want to go left, they have to go all the way down to Tipton Road and make a big loop.
So why don't we propose a sign at the end of Bonnie Drive that says from 2:30 to 3:30, you can only turn right. Do a right-hand turn when exiting the high school. Or
That's
something.
Creative. Seriously.
Living where I do and having worked at the high school, I would be a little frustrated that I couldn't turn left to go a half a block to my house. But some people would say I should have been walking anyway.
Blue zone effort would certainly say that.
Because one more comment, I like what Phil said about the crosswalk in front of Mulberry School. That seems to be logical to me, to maintain that, so.
Yeah, when I read the supportive material, it didn't make sense to me to take the signs out at Mulberry School. That bothered me.
Well, that's another entirely different issue that I could address as well. There are 2 accesses to Mulberry School. One is intended to be an entrance, and the other is intended to be an exit. And inevitably, people use the exit as an entrance, which just convolutes the problem there seriously. And when you're a bus operator trying to meet a schedule, it makes matters even that. But we exercise patience.
But if you had, if you, let's just say it'd be a little better supervision and instruction for the parents. I mean, the entrance and exit of a building should be more up to the building and not necessarily to the city to correct a problem.
Absolutely.
So I just won't support this. I would appreciate the support of council to not support this also.
Well, we'll just test it and see. Phil,
I know.
how's that?
Yeah.
Okay, any more discussion? This is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Motion does not carry, 0-6.
Thank you, council.
Item H, presented for City Council's consideration, is a request to approve the issuance of a purchase order for a sluice gate at the water, am I pronouncing that correctly, John? Roger, okay. A sluice gate at the water pollution control plant outfall in the levee. During the course of the recent construction project at the plant, an attempt was made to close the sluice gate to stop the river from flowing back to the plant during the installation of the new effluent pumps. The gate valve was completely non-functioning and could not be closed. The current gate is over 30 years old and is very difficult to maintain because of its location. This project can be completed with the city staff and equipment at this time due to low river levels. Bids were received for this gate, and the staff is recommending the bid from Mellon and Associates in the amount of $14,507 be approved for the Plastifab heavy-duty 36-inch sluice gate. Because this is not a budgeted item, it is proposed the gate be funded from the Water Pollution Control Plant Reserve. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Bill, and a second by Tom. Discussion, council.
Yeah, I have a question. It mentions here that the current gate is difficult to maintain because of its location. Will we be relocating the sluice gate? And the second question is, how much is in the reserve fund?
How much is what?
In the reserve fund.
I have to talk to Nancy about that.
about the reserve fund.
We,
as he said, it discovered this gate is hard to maintain only because it's 30 feet deep. It's from the top of the levee down to basically the river level is where the gate is located. And it just hasn't been operated for the last 30 years at all. It should have been. There's a mechanism to do that, but it just hasn't been operated. Even at the current river level, if something happens to that force main between the levee and the plant itself, we're going to try to drain the Mississippi is all we're going to try to do. 36-inch pipe, wide open, and there's no way of stopping it other than this, to get this new valve put in here. So as I said, with the river levels at their low level right now, it's not something we can wait on. We tried to do it almost a year ago. John Lutz was involved in there when the river was too high, but we would have needed a diver to try and get in there to block it, to even be able to do anything with it. So we can save a whole lot of money if we get at it and get it done now.
But it won't be relocated, or it will?
No, it'll stay in the same place.
Okay.
But it will be.
It's a matter of exercising the valve on a regular basis and coming up with a maintenance plan. It just hasn't been done in the previous to that. So going forward, there will be a plan to exercise that valve on a regular basis.
Okay. Probably won't get too many opportunities like this to get down there and do that.
No, this is an opportune time to get it done now. So, and it's going to take about 8 weeks to get this thing if we get it ordered now. So we can't wait any longer either. So, and as far as the funding is concerned, as I said, we almost have to turn it over to Nancy. I was in favor of using my funds to do this with, so my reserves, but it looks like that's where it's going to come from. But I think we've got more than enough to cover it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions for Roger? Very good. This is a voice vote. Thank you, Roger. Voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. Item I, presented for City Council's consideration is a request to approve a Mercer Muscatine revolving loan fund match for a local business expansion. Currently, there is an applicant who is requesting $150,000 in funding from the RLF. The applicant intends to create 15 jobs and invest $842,000 in a new manufacturing line. This loan would require a local match contribution of $37,500 to the loan pool prior to disbursement of the loan funds to the business. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved.
Mark,
Second.
and a second?
Second.
Second, Tom. Discussion, council.
Your Honor. We've had some discussions both at the Revolving Loan Fund Committee over at the Chamber. They've had some subsequent discussions as well. We've had some discussions at the staff level regarding the Revolving Loan Fund and this request. It's a great project. We're all supportive of the project. Mr. Doug Buster is here tonight. If you have any questions for him, I'm sure he's happy to answer any questions. I also provided a handout tonight as well. And we also have Mark Hunt here tonight from Bi-State if the City Council has any questions on the project as well. It's my recommendation that we partner on this project with the county and with the Chamber and split this contribution in 3 ways at $12,500 apiece rather than taking the entire amount from the city. The reason for that, tax increment financing would be the obvious source of the funds. For this project is mainly equipment, does not provide for increment, no mechanism for TIF to be replenished in this case. So it would be my recommendation that we split this 3 ways. It's a great project. We're all in favor of the project. And I guess that would be my recommendation at this point in time. When the City Council when this was first brought forward to the City Council back in 2009, City Administrator A.J. Johnson recommended or provided information to the City Council that this match would be met by the Chamber's Revolving Loan Fund, and that was the discussion at the time that the City Council was made aware of. So I guess that's really all I have at this point in time.
Yes, my only concern right now is that this business gets their local match so that they can get the loan through. The group that needs to meet to decide how this is going to be funded, if it's who's paying what, split, whatever, we need to take care of that separately, not part of this motion. And I think we need to, whoever's going, whether the chamber has the money to fund this right away and take care of it, and this city and the county and whatever other players we can get that wants to play, then we work at coming up with the split. But at this point, I would say the chamber and the city are on the hook, and if we can get another player, fine, but he needs to get the process moving so he can get his equipment in and so forth.
Mayor, there should be one other player, as far as I'm concerned, and the player should be the county. I certainly agree with the city administrator. It should be possibly an equal split between the city, the county, as well as the chamber. It's a great company. It is ready to hire more and more people. Asset-wise, paperwork-wise, it looks like it's all in line. I fully recommend let's help him out.
So do you see our choices then as either approving as presented or amending it to that the city?
We could certainly approve it. If we want to get the project moving forward, we could certainly approve an expenditure of $37.5 with the understanding that we're asking the chamber and the county to contribute, a third of the project, if that's what you'd like to do. I mean, the county meets Monday, and the chair indicated that she would have it on their agenda on Monday. I do not know when the chamber would be able to address it financially, but I think it makes sense for each of the three entities to bear a little bit of the burden here. But I do think we need to address this, the revolving loan fund, the Mercer-Muscatine revolving loan fund going forward. If we're going to be asking the city to contribute match for projects coming out of here, I think there's got to be increment in order for the city to provide match. When the city council first made its decision, it was based on information from AJ at the time indicating that the funds would be coming from elsewhere, not the city.
Anyone else, council? I would like to comment myself on this particular issue. I would say the term jobs is one of the top three items discussed from national politics right on down to state politics, as well as now it's touching us here in local government. Anything that we can possibly do to help create jobs, and we have a local businessman that's intending to do that, exercise entrepreneurism and beyond. Again, I firmly and strongly feel that we should do everything we can to encourage that and assist. So that's just my opinion.
And I would agree with you, Mayor, but I would like to see us pass this resolution now to make sure that it happens and work on the funding sources, as Greg suggested, after the fact.
Can we clarify what the exact motion is? Is it 37.5 and that we request participation, equal participation from the chamber and the county?
Right.
Yeah, I don't see that this says the city's on the hook for the 37.5. It says this loan would require a local match contribution. Now that local match contribution can come from any given source.
It needs to go to the organization. It needs to go to Bi-State through the city.
Right.
That's the requirement. It cannot be made with state or federal funds. It has to come from the community.
So local tax dollars.
I have in front of me the original agreement that was executed between the city, the county, and the Bi-State Commission. Section 7B says, once a local government provides local cash match to the Mercer-Muscatine Revolving Loan Fund, that government may continue to sponsor funds, but the implication is that it comes from the sponsoring entity, be it the city or the county. Now, the other parties to this agreement, of course, would be Mercer County and the city of Aledo, but they're not in play here because the business is in Muscatine. But this document does imply that it comes from the city.
Somewhere
the sponsoring entity.
It must come through the community,
Right.
yes.
So where'd you get the document?
Well,
Probably something I should have, right?
sure, we can get you one. This is the agreement between the Bi-State Commission and the city and the county.
From 2009?
Pardon?
From 2009?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
do we need to amend that motion?
I don't think so. I still agree with Phil that let's get this approved and we can worry about what the percentages are later, that we can work that out with the chamber and in the county. But the funds still have to come through the city.
Funds have to come through the city. I guess I'd prefer a clearer motion that, that we are requesting participation, equal participation from the chamber and the county.
That's fine.
I don't have a problem
I
with that.
agree.
So
And
do we
it's
need to
important
do-
enough that we keep it moving here, and then,
Yeah.
I'd be disappointed if the other two didn't participate at some level, but we'll just have to see how that goes. But I'd feel better if we worded it this way, too.
Yeah, I just want to get it moving.
Yeah.
And keep the process. It's obviously moving, but I want to make
Keep it
sure
moving.
it's continues.
So have we amended the motion? Is
I
that
think
what
so.
we're saying? Okay.
Friendly amendment?
Friendly amendment.
Fran, you want to read the motion as it's amended?
The friendly amendment.
Can you do that?
With the friendly amendment.
Well, my understanding is, the original motion was to approve the Mercer Muscatine Revolving Loan Fund match for local business expansion, and now we are going to make it clear that the motion will be approved as it was made, but with equal participation from the chamber and the county.
A request for.
Request for.
Equal
That's what I
participation.
have. I have request.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear, everyone?
Right.
Okay, the motion was made by Mark and seconded by Tom. We've had plenty of discussion. Is there any more?
I just, any comments from the business or
Doug, would you like
chamber?
to comment?
I just had a question for you. It says invested 842,000. That's in the line itself, or is that with 15 new jobs for 1 year or something like that?
No, that's completely all equipment.
That's all
Yeah,
equipment?
that's to get started. We're supposed to be starting production somewhere in September. We're about a month behind right now. If we were dipping parts today, the anodizing process, if we were dipping parts today, we would have our lines full for 12 hours a day, one shift, and then 4 hours on second, with more to come. So we've already hired approximately 8 to 10 people to get started training. We need another 12, we need another 15. We'll be well over probably 20 to 25 jobs when this is all said and done.
Okay, so can you, and we always ask this of businesses when they want to come and ask for money from the state and so forth, can you give us a wage rate?
Yes. Most of the jobs will be starting out at $10 an hour, and they'll go up to $15 an hour.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries 6-0. And it is now time for communications from our council members and others, starting with Councilman Lorette.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just remind everyone that school begins next week, so as you're driving to work in the morning or heading around town in the afternoon, take a little extra care, look out for students on the paths. That's all I have.
Thank you. Phil?
I would suggest that people exiting the high school on Bonnie Drive take a right.
Both of you have stolen my thought already.
Thank you.
Scott?
Thank you, Mayor. I have nothing.
Okay. Bob?
Question for you, Mayor. When is the intersection or the Second Street over
Mad Creek?
Small Mad Creek's going to open up? Are we about done with that project?
You were asking the mayor? You said?
Or maybe Gray?
That way the mayor
Or
can direct.
Mr.
Project, I know.
I was looking for Steve, but Steve wasn't here tonight, but I know they met here this week.
I've been checking on the project. from time to time and asking whether they were on schedule or not. They keep telling me they're on schedule. The scheduled date was August 29th. I haven't been there in like 3 or 4 days here this week. So I don't know. I haven't asked them in 3 or 4 days whether they're still on their August 29th day or not.
So are they on their schedule or our schedule?
Well, there was a 45-day period when the Corps had set in the contract, okay, you can have this only closed between that certain amount of time. And they've been identifying it and tracking it, and they've completed an awful lot of work.
Right.
There's a huge gate that they've hauled in there, all kinds of concrete work, and very large slab and detailed
Been excellent
work.
weather.
Yeah.
It's been warm, but it hasn't rained on them.
I have not heard that they're not on schedule to complete on or before. They've run into one small snag, as far as I've heard, and that's the tracks that the gate actually moves across Second Street on. They need to come up or fashion some type of cover for that. Otherwise, it could interfere with the trucks, the snowplows, et cetera. That's something that they hadn't factored in, so that's something they're going to be working on. But other than that, I haven't heard that there's been any issues.
I'm sure there will be work around that area once it's opened, you know, so it's not going to be the entire width of the roadway all the time from there on out. It'll probably be narrowed to a certain extent, but it will carry traffic.
Thank you, John, and thanks for that question.
One more question. Our grand new fire station, do we have a grand opening date set yet?
It will be in September. The fire department will be sending out a notice to everyone. In top of my head, I believe it was the 19th of
19th.
19th? I believe it is the 19th of September. But you will be getting an official notice.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Jeanette?
That's the same question I had, so
Okay.
nothing.
And Tom?
I have nothing for this evening, Your Honor.
Okay. Fran?
Nothing, Your Honor.
And Greg?
Just a couple quick items. We had a great turnout Tuesday night at the comprehensive plan meeting, and we had 40 individuals, not counting staff and by state. So we had a great turnout, great participation. We have meetings coming up August 21st, 28th, and September 5th will be our Hispanic or Latino-focused session on the south side of town at the United Methodist Church. So we've got 3 coming up. All of the information's online on the website. We had great participation Tuesday night, and look forward to having 3 more meetings just like that.
And my comment would be, I would echo the comments of Mark and Phil, but I would also add, driving an automobile is a privilege, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a right. So while you're operating your automobile or your motorcycle or whatever, please exercise patience and consideration for others. That's very important, particularly this time of year as school starts up. Council, any other business? Is there?
Adjourn. Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Tom. Meeting's adjourned.
That's fine.
They have to fight over the adjournment.
I was going to say it too, because